Think Realty Nation, it's your host, Abhi Golhar. Welcome to the Think Realty podcast. I'm excited to talk about IRA investing. You've heard about it, I'm sure. Or maybe, you've gone to that real estate conference and somebody said you might want to take a look at a self-directed IRA or a self-directed Roth IRA. Or something has something to do with some self-directed something and you just want more information about it. Well, this, my friends, is your show. We're going to give the entire spill-all, everything you need to know, well, as much as we can about IRA investing and setting up an IRA. What's required? What do you do? Who's the go-to person for that? And believe me, there are rules to the game that you have to follow to make sure that you do it the right way. Like, example, you can't just give money to yourself, right? You're going to get dinged for that, and you're going to face a bunch of fines, and you don't need any of that in your life. So, my good friend Haley from Quest IRA is going to be on the line. I keep saying on the line. I'm so used to saying that on radio, but she'll be here with us in just a second. But she's a pro. She can answer all your questions, and I have a few of the questions that I'm going to ask her about IRA investing. So before we do that, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, who's Real Property Management, and they are the largest residential property management franchise in North America, managing tens of thousands of properties for individuals, investors, and institutions throughout the country. You can learn more by visiting www.realpropertymgt.com or by calling 888-806-7088. So IRA investing. Sometimes you kind of feel like you want to pull your hair out, but don't stop. No, I see you. Put the scissors down. We've got Haley. Haley, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here today, and it's so great to see you again. Last time we saw each other was up in, where was it? Quite a while ago. Glad to be here today.
I'm sorry, it was Indiana, not Ohio.
Indiana.
I was just thinking, I was just doing something for somebody in Ohio, but it's Indiana, Syria, great people up there. Mm-hmm. But so give us a little background. Quest IRA, and how did you fall into this space? Because I don't see a lot of people that are young, that are smart in the IRA space, and I'm just like, this is so cool.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of funny. Me personally, I grew up in the real estate world. My parents, when I was in kindergarten, quit their corporate jobs, started investing into real estate, started from the ground up. And that was in 1999. And actually in 2004 is when Quest IRA or Quest Trust Company opened their doors. And at that time, my parents actually rolled their IRAs over to Quest. And that's kind of how I ended up working here. I've, grown up around investments, kind of heard a little bit about self-directed IRAs when I was in high school, actually. And now here I am 4 years later, been at Quest for 4 years now as one of our IRA specialists. So my job is to basically teach people about how to self-direct their IRA, the rules, the regulations, all of that fun stuff. But yeah, kind of grew up around it, ended up, very quickly after college working for Quest, and it's just flown by. It's really great to kind of teach all of these different types of topics to people that might not have heard about it, if they haven't come across the right education.
Yeah, and that's the thing about an IRA, right? And more specifically, a self-directed IRA. It's the education that really matters because there's so much that you can do with it. But if you don't follow the rules, then you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot and you would have wished never to do it. So that's why I appreciate and love people like you that always offer that extra level of education, and you really care. And when we met each other for the first time in India, I'm like, wow, she knows her stuff, and that's fantastic. That's great. Were you a nerd in high school? Were you trying to convince all your other peers to open up a self-directed IRA? Were you that person? I think you were that person.
So it's funny, actually. I remember the first time I ever heard of a self-directed IRA. Yeah. I was riding out to a property with my mom, and she was explaining to me that they had bought this property in their IRA instead of their LLC to kind of help shelter it from taxes. And to be honest, I did not care at all. I was like, cool, whatever.
Right, you're eye roll, right?
Yeah. And then whenever I started working for Quest, I kind of remembered that. And I was like, wow, they've been doing this for a while. But yeah, always been a nerd, but not so much in the IRA space. I never imagined that my world would be talking about retirement accounts all day, every day. But it's a lot of fun because not a lot of people have good access to this information.
That's right. So let's start from the beginning. What's Quest?
Yeah, so Quest is a self-directed IRA custodian. So basically at Quest, we hold the same types of IRAs that you find at any other custodian. But the biggest difference is that we allow you to invest into different types of assets outside of the stock market, mutual funds, CDs. Most of these investments that 98% of Americans hold in their retirement accounts, at Quest we hold a completely different class of assets. So our clients use their IRAs to invest into real estate investment properties, promissory notes, private placement investments, and really allows you to diversify your retirement portfolio by holding a completely different class of asset. And we basically act as the custodian over the account and educate our clients all throughout the process of how it works, how to fund these investments, what kind of things to stay away from, like self-dealing, things like that. But we're a
Yeah.
custodian, but we also, really specialize in the education so our clients know how to do these deals and stay within the guidelines of the IRS.
So, and I'm familiar, but I'm not an expert like you are in the space. There's a difference between like a custodian and this other type of IRA entity that, do you know what I'm talking about? It's not like a broker, but it's something else, and it doesn't have as much weight. Do you know?
Yeah, so and like an administrator, maybe?
That's the word. Yes, thank you. So what's the difference between, and this is why Quest is amazing, right? Like, what's the difference between Quest IRA, the custodian,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody that's not, like another entity that's not a custodian but is an administrator? And why do you want a custodian versus an administrator?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. And it really one of the biggest differences is who we report to. So as a administrator, we actually well, because previously Quest IRA, which a lot of people refer to us as, Quest IRA was a third-party administrator to IRA accounts, and we reported to a larger custodian, which was actually based out of Kansas.
Okay.
And essentially, Quest has become so large over the years. The Texas Banking Department wanted to be able to regulate us within the state of Texas as a custodian. So we went through the process. Actually, took us about a year to get our trust charter,
Okay.
and so we officially became our own custodian about 2 years ago. And that's whenever we kind of transitioned from Quest IRA to Quest Trust Company. But it's really important to remember whenever you have your IRA, your IRA is your retirement account. There needs to be some sort of degree of separation between you and your IRA, meaning you need some sort of custodial company to really act as the custodian over your IRA account. So
Yes.
Quest, as the custodian, we process the paperwork, we process the investments, the payments, and our clients just kind of direct us what we need to do. So it's really important to have that custodian type entity over your IRA account to make sure that things are kind of kept at arm's length.
So, okay, so that makes sense to me. And thank you for clearly defining the custodian and the administrator.
Mm-hmm.
There are, and I've heard about an account where I can set it up and it's like my own bank, and I can write a check from that account.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
is that like a good thing, or is that like self-dealing? How dangerous is that? Should I consider doing that, or should I just not do that because it doesn't have like the Quest oversight?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because then that
Yeah.
gives me a
And
little
so
uncertainty.
yeah, and this is always a really hot topic of conversation because a lot of people like to talk about, all these great benefits of like I think you're referring to like a checkbook control IRA or checkbook
Yes.
control LLC.
Yes.
There are differing opinions on this. At Quest, we actually do not administrate those types of checkbook control IRA type of accounts, where, we still act as the custodian, we process all the payments. But essentially, with the checkbook control type of setup, you essentially set up an LLC that your IRA funds into that then you manage,
Okay.
which essentially is a prohibited transaction. Without getting too into the weeds, there is a court case, Swanson versus Commissioner, that's actually dates back to like 1996, so very long time ago. And the way they kind of ended up ruling on this court case is where a lot of people take the argument that checkbook control is okay. But essentially, where the issue lies is you, as the IRA account holder, basically acting, signing the checks, being the managing member of this LLC that your IRA has funded into.
Yeah.
We foresee that this could become problematic in the future. There are a lot of people that kind of maybe use those accounts inappropriately, and maybe not even on purpose. Maybe they just haven't had the right education and they just go along. They had some attorney come charge them a couple $1,000s, set up this great entity for them, but
Right.
really without knowing the ins and outs of how it actually works. For those reasons at Quest, we choose not to hold those types of accounts, but we have systems in place that, really make it beneficial to our clients where they don't really need that. If a client at Quest needs to send out a payment, they can just upload the invoice to an online client portal. We send it out in 24 to 48 hours. So you still keep that degree of separation without, potentially running into trouble in the future.
Got it. And thank you for clarifying that, because I've always heard about this thing and I'm just like, how does that work? And the fact that your IRA funds an LLC that you manage or that you control because you're the person that has to set up the LLC in order for the IRA to fund that LLC. I guess the technicality can be, well, I'm not the LLC and that's probably what they're getting away with, but I agree that that should be a prohibited transaction because I still control the money once deployed, and that's kind of weird. But anyway, so if you have any questions about that, you can get in touch with Haley, and I suggest that you do that. Or what's the website, Haley, so that we can get all the education, all the info?
Yeah, so really easy. Our website is just www.wstrustcom. Through our website, you can actually chat live with an IRA specialist. You can see all of our education that we have, as well as several educational articles and investment instructions, pretty much anything there. But what I would recommend, go to that website and request a free consultation with an IRA specialist so we can actually reach out to you and chat one-on-one and really kind of tailor it to your personal situation and give you all of that relevant information that you're looking for.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you for that. When it comes to lending money, and when it comes to there are a lot of folks out there, right? They might be sitting on some cash and they can't really take it out of their 401k or they can't take it out of their IRA just yet, but they're also a little concerned that, geez, the stock market's been like super topsy-turvy and volatile. I want to go put it somewhere. What are some of how can I deploy that capital into a real estate deal, say using an IRA?
Yeah. So, and this is a really common investment type that we see where a lot of people like to use their IRAs just to be passive private money lenders or invest passively into like multifamily deals, commercial deals. We see a lot of people that like to use their IRAs to be passive because it's much more easy to keep things at arm's length. We do see people that hold actual real estate investment properties in their IRA. That could be a pretty lucrative investment because all of the appreciation of that asset is completely tax deferred or tax free within the IRA. But private money lending with IRA funds is one of our most popular educational topics because, not all of our clients are full-time real estate investors. A lot of people, really just want to be passive, maybe loan their funds out to other real estate investors. In turn, there's kind of two sides to that where if I'm a real estate investor and I need funding for my deal, knowing how to use other people's IRAs as private financing sources could potentially unlock unlimited sources of private capital for my deals that I have going on today. So if you kind of know how to introduce the conversation of, oh, did you have an IRA? Did you know that you could use these funds to be a private lender? This loan is safe and secured by this piece of real estate. Go out, build that rapport, and just kind of start learning how to introduce that into your conversations. And you would be surprised at how many people are not happy with the returns that they're making in their retirement account. I know a lot of people that lost like 30 to 40% of their entire account's value in a matter of a few days when the stock market went way down a couple of weeks ago. So there's a lot of people out there looking for alternative places to put their money that, is not going to keep them up at night because if all of my money's in the stock market and I have no idea what's happening with the stock market tomorrow, I'm going to be a little worried about the well-being of my retirement account. But, having the ability to teach other people how to invest into these types of assets, how to be a private lender with your IRA really can open up a lot of doors to private capital. And in turn, you're also helping other people save more securely for their retirement. So it's really kind of cool to see both sides of that scenario.
That's really, really cool. And like you said, it's the you're the real estate investor. You
Mm-hmm.
could be a multifamily syndicator. You could be raising money for whatever. But having that tool in your tool belt
Mm-hmm.
and the conversation already prepped and saying, hey, where do you have, like, if Haley is an investor or a potential lender, I would say, Haley, out of curiosity, I mean, we've been looking at this deal for the last maybe little bit. And I mean, obviously you're interested. You'd mentioned you have about $25,000, $50,000 to deploy. Have you heard of doing it in a in a tax efficient manner,
Mm-hmm.
such as a self-directed IRA? And it's that simple. And then the question is, well, and if they don't know what it is, then the question they're going to ask is, right, what's a
Call me.
self-directed IRA? And then just get in touch with Haley.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I tell people that all the time because one of, kind of the most important things to remember when you are self-directing your IRA or working with IRA funds is knowing the roles of everyone in the situation. So, you have the private lender that has their IRA account, you have the borrower, then you have Quest as the custodian. So if you're going out there and you're building rapport with other investors that have money in their IRA to loan out, your main role is to go out, build the rapport, build those relationships, then and introduce the conversation. But once someone really wants to know the intricacies, the ins and outs, the logistics of how it works, you don't have to know everything that we know. Just kind of know how to pass off the conversation at that point. And a lot of our clients really like that because bringing in Quest as, technically we're a neutral third party. I'm not here to push anyone's investment or, their agenda. I'm here to help educate about the process and how it works. Then from there, if you want to do the deal, great. If not, keep going out and building those relationships. But knowing the roles of everyone in the situation can be really helpful. That way you can go out and focus on what you're good at, and we can focus on what we're good at, which is educating and facilitating these accounts once someone decides that this is the route that they want to go.
So let's say that I'm on the lending side and I'm somebody that has a little bit of capital in my IRA, and now I've pinpointed an opportunity, and it's going to, let's say the capital call is due in, say, 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to self-direct my IRA. What are the best steps? What are the steps that I need to take in order
Mm-hmm.
to be successful in doing doing it the right way, instead of getting
Mm-hmm.
caught on the back end with, like, oh crap, now I have to redo this, and now all of a
Yeah.
sudden this transaction's invalid, and I'm going to get dinged by who's the SEC, the
Mm-hmm.
IRS, the government, somebody?
IRS, yes.
IRS, yes.
Gotta love them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and I like that you mentioned the 2 weeks because whenever you're self-directing your IRA, the time frame is very, very important. And so at Quest, our processing times are very fast. Once we receive investment documents, we can turn around and fund that deal in about 24 to 48 hours. However, moving your funds from your current custodian to Quest, or really, wherever you're moving your funds to, is totally dependent on that custodian that is currently holding your funds. So if you have a deal that needs to be funded in 2 weeks, but your custodian takes 3 to 4 weeks to send us those funds, you kind of want to keep that in mind and have probably already started that process maybe like a month or two ahead of time. I always tell people, get the right information, be prepared, set up a one-on-one consultation so we can really walk you through that process. We actually have a list of about like a couple of thousand different custodians
Yeah.
and their requirements and their timeframes. So some of them are very fast, but some of them are very slow. And so I always tell people, if you see yourself doing an investment with your self-directed IRA in the next like 2 to 6 months, go ahead and get that account open, get it at least partially funded. That way, when you're out there and a deal comes across your plate, boom, you can send us the investment documents. We fund it 24 to 48 hours. So that time frame is really important. And we do have a lot of clients that actually maybe transfer their funds back and forth between a more traditional custodian and to Quest, because you want to stay diversified no matter where your funds are invested. So
Mm-hmm.
we do have a lot of clients that actually might transfer a little bit of their cash balance back and forth just based on where they're wanting to use it at the time. But you always want to be aware of that time frame of how quickly or how slowly your funds can actually move over to Quest once you're ready to do a deal.
Awesome. Great insight. I learned a lot, especially about that administrator and the custodian thing, and that there are rules to follow. Now, we didn't get into the rules specifically, but essentially, there are a lot of them, and you need to get in touch with Haley's team and get those questions answered. You don't want to be setting something up and setting yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success. Get in touch with Quest and Haley. And Haley, what's the best email address, or how do we get in touch with wstrustcom?
Yeah, so we have a general email. It's info@wstrust.com. That actually goes directly to several of our IRA specialists. I do a lot of webinars like this, so I don't directly receive those emails, but they do go out to a lot of our IRA specialists. And you can also give us a call. Our phone number is 281-492-3434. Super easy. Give us a call, ask for an IRA specialist. And, our role is to help educate you about the process, no matter where you are in it, whether you're just quit your job, whether you're looking to quit your job and looking for other investment options, whether you're ready to set up your account today or just want more information. We're here to help you, because we always say our most educated clients are our most successful clients. And that's so true with self-directed IRAs, because there are a lot of intricacies and we know them. So, rely on us. We're here to definitely help out in any way that we can.
Love it. And that's the same thing that we say about real estate investors, right? The most successful real estate investors are the ones that do the most due diligence on the piece of real estate they're buying. So this is no different, right? If you're going to look at doing a self-directed IRA, get the best possible information and get involved with a custodian that understands the game and that's been around for a while. Check out Quest. So Haley, thank you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great to see you again.
Yeah,
Thank
likewise.
You,
Absolutely. So you want to get in touch with Haley, check it out. Go to wstrust.com. Thanks again, Haley. Certainly appreciate the time. This next segment is brought to you by Clint Kunz of Anderson Business Advisor. He's a nationally recognized individual for providing bulletproof asset protection, tax, and business strategy advice for real estate investors. Go to www.getbulletprooftoday.com and receive Clint's book, Asset Protection for Real Estate Investors, for free while supplies last. All right, so the best times of the year to sell a home. This is from Adam Data Solutions. Now, if you don't know much about Adam Data Solutions, know this. They have millions of points of data that they look at to analyze stuff 6 ways from Sunday. I don't know how they do it. I think they've hired an alien from Mars to sit behind a computer and crank out this data. But this is what they've cranked out. They've analyzed 33.6 million home sales in the last 9 years. And they've shown that on June 22nd, the median sales price is roughly $204,000, and that seems to be the hottest, like late spring, early summer, realize the biggest premiums for home sales. And it starts to get cooler after that. So June 22nd, June 21st, June 29th, June 20th, and June 15th, we're seeing that sliding scale of cooling down a little. It's nuts. So if you want to check this out, go to adamdata.com. And they're saying, keep these in mind. If you're like a numbers and month kind of person, June 22nd is the hottest day during the year to sell a house. June 21st is the second hottest. June 29th is the third hottest. June 20th is the fourth hottest. And June 15th is the fifth hottest. The seller premium that you get on the hottest day, which is June 22nd, is 10.5%. And June 15th, the fifth hottest day during the year, you get a seller premium of 10.2%. So interesting. Is it worth the 0.3% differential? Maybe, but that's up to you to decide. If you have any questions, get in touch. Go to thinkrealty.com. We're here for you. I love supporting the entire real estate investing community. It's so much fun. There's so many questions that need to be answered on a daily basis, whether it's about IRA investing, about the different types of exit strategies, entrance strategies, acquisition strategies, business process systems, design, tech, areas, markets. There's so much to talk about, which is why we have an amazing ecosystem of information and people like Haley from Quest Trust to come on and answer some amazing questions. So if you want to get in touch, you know how to do it. Find me anywhere online on Instagram or LinkedIn. LinkedIn's actually pretty good right now at Abi Golhar. My LinkedIn game's on fleek, so you got to check it out. And if you want to check out the other podcasts for Think Realty, it's super easy. Go to thinkrealty.com/podcast. This show, to wrap it up, is brought to you by Real Property Management, the largest residential property management franchise in North America, which manages tens of thousands of properties for individuals, investors, and institutions throughout the country. Learn more at realpropertymgt.com or call 888-806-7088. Think Realty Nation. Until next time, happy investing.